Hi, Mary Kuthice here. And before I get into the meat of what I want to talk about, which is why it's so hard to create habits, I should tell you that I am a bit of an outlier when it comes to the word habits. I think that we've kind of gotten ourselves caught up into a mistaken idea or notion about habits. But before we get into that, let me say that when I went out to Amazon to look up habits, I found more than 50,000 hits. Now, I'm not sure that all of those necessarily are books about how to create habits, but there's a lot of them. And there are a lot of really good books, and there are a lot of very well intentioned books, and there are also some very successful books. But I would hazard to guess that many of the books that talk about habits are not actually helping you create habits. And this is why. The definition of habit is an acquired behavior pattern regularly followed until it has become almost involuntary. And that's the word that gets us, involuntary. The likelihood that what you're starting to do, that what you're changing will get to the point of being involuntary is unlikely. When you think about things like putting on your seatbelt, perhaps, that's a habit. The truth is, most of the habits that we have are not good ones. For instance, if you think about how often you check your email in a day, it's probably a habit and you don't even realize it by the time you're into it. You've glanced past your phone or past your computer, and all of a sudden you're in email, whether or not it's the best way to spend your time in that moment. So that's what habits are. So, what do we want instead of that? What you want are processes to follow, routines to get into. If you think about going to the gym, it won't be a habit that you go to the gym and work out, but what it could be is a routine that you follow. Maybe you go 3 days a week, you put your bag out the night before and you go to certain classes or you lift certain kinds of weights. That's a routine. Or back to the email, if you decide that you want to use your time more productively, you will have a routine for when you check email, a way that you do it that's not involuntary. You will have thought that goes into doing that, and that's what the routine is. It's something that you will have to think about, but it's something that works better for you than what you're doing involuntarily. The reason I bring all of this up is to give yourself a break. If you have been unable to create new habits, and I should tell you that the 21 days to a new habit is a myth, which I talk about in my book, but give yourself a break and think about creating new routines that will serve you instead of believing that if you were good enough, you'd be able to create habits that would have you doing the good things, the productive things involuntarily. Because for most people, that's never going to happen. More later.